stops POTAG salaries. Government has directed the Controller and Accountant General's Department to freeze salaries of striking Polytechnic teachers, and this is for the month of August, another month, and they will continue with the industrial action. And according to a source at the ministry, government is also considering whether or not to deduct from the salaries of the teachers the monies they had already collected for work done since May 15 when they began their strike. Anna.
Oh, I was hoping the government side answer this question first, because I honestly don't understand this. I mean, is it pro the laws? Is that what the law? He's on the Minister of Education. That's why. Oh, but he's pro-government. He's in government. Now the question is this pro the laws of Ghana? I thought there was a recent judgment to one of these labor organizations. In fact, I thought it was POTAG, where they justified.
POTAG, they went to
justified the
but they said they should come and
negotiate.
Yes.
But they did not say that it was an illegal act. So where does government come off taking this illegal step? That's what it is. If this is in direct reaction to what's going on, then it only comes out logically for me that it is an illegal act of government. What does government seek to achieve by this? You have created enough unrest in this country, fundamentally just on our economy. Nothing else, if you like, put everything else aside. Fundamentally just on our economy. Now people are buying one tomato for 1 cedi. You can't buy...
They're buying what?
One tomato.
Which market?
Ganeshi market. For 1 cedi. You can't buy a good solid loaf of bread and not pay 2 cedis for it. At the beginning of this year, you
mean one tomato?
I said bread now. I moved on. Is that all right? Yeah.
All right, then.
Now, at the beginning of this year, you could buy a loaf of bread for 2 cedis. Solid bread. Same bread today, same location, it's 4 cedis. In some places, 6. It means
Which
that
location is that?
Ganeshi. Swan Lake. I don't, you see, I go to the market, my brother. I don't just talk. And if it isn't me buying, I listen to what people are saying and doing, because I know I have to come and sit here. And it is a privilege. And the privilege, therefore, requires me to speak for those who don't get that privilege.
I'm not saying you're peddling untruth, so we shouldn't get into
I
that.
have no problem. Yes, we should, because when you raise that, the public, and it's a good question. If you notice, I didn't challenge it. It's a good question, but the public must also know that my sources are real. These are real things that
That's
are
why
happening.
I asked you where.
Very good. And I've also justified your question.
Carnation.
I said your question is a good question.
I may have observed wrongly, maybe in another market.
No, you're not under pressure, my brother. The issue is that these are real points being made. So when you have now put these people under the situation that they're in, you're not dealing with them on truth. You're not doing what you have said you will do. When they react, because it is one of the tools they have for reaction, and in fact, it's one of the more extreme ones that is supposed to kick up your sensitivities to realize that, look, we're in a serious situation. This is your reaction. That you think that you should now withhold their salaries. It's a very bad way to manage. It's a very bad way to manage. It really is a very bad way to manage.
You've repeated that 3 times.
Yes,
bad way to manage.
emphasis.
Bad way to manage.
It is a very bad way to
3
manage.
times.
Yeah.
I know you're a chief, so 3.
That's nothing to do with the point. Otherwise, then let me get up.
But Mr. Champon, the vice president of the Greater Accra branch of POTAG had been speaking to Joy FM, has said that the strike had been declared legal by the court and would therefore be legal for government to freeze salaries. And also, Shraj also declared that the strike embarked upon by POTAG was also legal. So, what light is very direct. We know government is the biggest employer.
Yes, you see, Roland. Sometimes those of us in this part of the world take so many things for granted.
Which is?
Let me give you typical examples. And I ask Nana. Nana, if you owned a primary school, private primary school, and your teachers decided that they wanted to go on a strike, but you had set in motion a negotiating process that will enable them arrive at a conclusion as to what their grievance was, and they decided to withhold services, would you continue to pay them salaries?
I may or may not.
Yes, you may or may not. You see,
and I may or may not.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yes, and it's also got tricks. It's also it's also got tricks in it.
Nana, you have a point.
You must be clear about the
Don't take
tricks.
its time. Don't note it.
It also has tricks in it. It is about the fact that we're talking government and not private.
All right.
And there are laws.
Nana, your point has been made, sir.
You see, I asked that rhetorical question to establish one simple fact. When you are not putting in a service for which you earn a salary, you don't need to be paid. The people who should be paying POTAG teachers are the POTAG union.
total contradiction.
Because you have called a strike. It is not government that is supposed to pay you. Why do they collect POTAG dues and whatever? Everywhere in this world, when unions go on strike, it's unions that pay the striking workers. It's union, because you have called the strike to make a demand. Here, it's free money. You don't go to work, you don't teach, you don't do anything, and you still claim a salary.
But we don't understand that. But government also has a certain responsibility.
Government has a responsibility.
And that the very responsibility also enjoins, by virtue of the fact that we have these regulations in the labor law that state that when you go and negotiate with unionized groups, you adhere to the state, the conclusion of the negotiation that you have to.
But you have withdrawn
in this very instance, we've had various legal entities mandated by the Constitution who have said that government has reneged on its own promises. And as a result of that, the strike action by POTAG is legal, Mr. Kobi.
If it is legal, fine. But it is your union that must pay you. You don't draw a salary for something you are not doing. It's a drain on the government purse. Are they teaching? Students are sitting at home, and you want to be paid for students going back home.
Why don't you pay them preemptively to prevent all these things?
It's not a question of paying them. It's a negotiating process. Until you conclude that negotiation process, you don't withdraw your services. You don't do that. We make this an issue in this country because we've had it all over the period for a very long time. Nobody cares about it. But it's a drain on government purse. Serious drain on government pay.
So you feel this very action by government is the best means?
It is the best means. You must tell them to come back to the table.
It's almost like you're threatening the POTAG teachers.
I'm not threatening anybody. Why would I threaten somebody?
I'm not talking you per se. I'm talking about by
if you don't work, you don't get paid. Period. You don't work, you don't get paid. It is basic in life. You don't work, you don't get paid. Biblical. It's there. You don't work, you don't get paid. Why would you deprive parents who spend hard-earned money to bring their children to school, and you decide that you don't want to teach?
Why would government also deprive the teachers?
Government is not depriving the teachers. There is a process in place.
We do understand there's a process.
So go through the process. There are laws in this country, please.
It's not the first time, though, we're going to have the government not paying teachers. Because it happened, I believe, somewhere in October 2007 or 6, thereabouts.
It's been done.
Osafo was the Minister of Education at the time.
Let me call Kobe and his party double standards party.
Oh, please.
And the reason is a social democrat.
That's politics, right?
What's politics? Calling him double standard.
Yeah, that's very common.
It is. It is very political. Because I'm saying that if the NPP had the position, we wouldn't take a double standard situation.
You have taken that position before. Anyway, let's not go.
To their salaries.
Let's not.
Was the Safumafu from a different political group?
Now you're responsible for the action of government.
What was the basis for Safumafu doing that?
The same thing.
The exact same thing?
Yes.
The exact same thing is not the case. I don't recall the total picture, but I do know that it is not the exact same.
It was the same thing.
Now here's the story about why they are double standards. You're social democrats.
So?
You're the ones who's supposed to take care of everybody.
So?
In fact, you're just,
so if you're not working, I should pay you.
In our previous topic, we were talking about you.
So if you're not working, I should pay you.
Are you going to let me finish? In our previous topic, we were talking about them giving free money. They were just giving free money. What's wrong with giving this thing that should be JIDA that's not?
Do you mean the Yes Fund?
Yes.
They're giving free money?
What is it?
They're helping
giving anybody money.
It is free money.
That's okay.
It is free money. When you're only paying taxes on the thing, it's free money. And it's going to be job for the boys and party boys for that matter. Now, in this instance,
that's why you're desperately trying to come to power?
Mr. Champion.
No, it's a rhetorical question. That's why you're desperately trying to come to power.
Below the belt.
It's not below the belt.
It's also a political statement.
So is that why you are desperately trying to come to power?
Yes, to
doing
stop
everything.
To stop
Mr. Champion, please.
To stop you from undermining the Ghanaians' life.
Please, we're talking on the subject of the action taken by government.
That's the answer to his question. Now, the Social Democrat is the one who's now giving free money to people.
What do you mean by free money?
Why? It's tax. They're only going to pay taxes. They're not going to pay their money back or its interest.
Continue with your submission.
It's free money. But they don't think that those who are working already, who they are depriving of their own money and set good circumstance, should get their money. That's what they're saying now. That's what he's saying. Social Democrats. So exactly what standards are we going by? That's what I said, double standards party. So if you like, say that MPP did it. We're capitalist oriented. we're not social democrats, assuming that capitalists are supposed to do that. If that's what the case. But you are social democrats. Double standards. That's what's going on. Now, the real matter of the POTAG people, what exactly is the issue? What are the details? Why is it that government has a hard time sitting down to pay them? Look, the kinds of monies that they spend that they're not accounting for properly and all that. When we go into those things, what exactly are they doing about it? Why? If you went to Mr. Woyome and collected as you've been directed, I'm sure POTAG will be happy to receive. And a lot of those other organizations. I haven't done a compilation
why is
of
Mr.
the amount
Woyome's matter
because he's supposed to pay back. Why aren't they making moves to get him to pay?
But
why, it doesn't relate to
It's
us.
money. Is it not money?
Over what? Government has not said it doesn't have money to pay POTAG. They are negotiating at certain levels.
Oh, please.
And as far as government is concerned, we need to have some
the
conclusiveness
argument
to the
that
subject.
government is quietly making is that they don't have money. That's the quiet argument.
Roland, I think
You mean your suspicion?
Roland, I
Yes.
think we need to center this debate.
That's
properly.
No, I think the debate
Because
is rightly
if
centered.
you've been
The point-
negotiating over how many years now, and you can't settle it, and so they take to the action that they deem most powerful for them, and rightfully so. Instead of rioting or causing mayhem or whatever, they take an action, a civil action. You know what demonstrations are, Mr. Kobia Champa. You know the value of demonstrations.
Of course.
Is this the response?
You don't work.
Life
you
is
should
not
be paid.
good already. Oh. Life already is not good.
Yeah,
right
so
now,
if you don't work,
right
you
now
should be
already
paid.
the value of their 2 cedis which could buy bread is now lost.
Nana, you've done a lot
Okay.
of the talking.
Let me.
Can I react?
No. You will react. Please note
Okay.
what your point
you
will
made
be.
me come late so you can even talk
do you
about it.
agree that it makes a lot of sense that if you hold government to ransom, you hold students to ransom, you hold institutions to ransom, you don't expect to be paid? You shouldn't expect to be paid.
First of all, let's remember that POTAG people are parents. They're somebody's brother or sister. That's one.
And so?
And so, give them the same regard. They also have people they have to take care of. Now, the students have also supported POTAG.
No, they've come out against POTAG.
No.
Yes.
Where?
Check.
The last time I
Genoobs.
checked, they were pro.
Genoobs, no. Genoobs has come up against POTAG. They have come
I
up.
haven't heard that. Have
Yes, you haven't heard because you are not reading wide enough.
Continue your statement.
The two of us haven't heard it. Now, the issue is, so what exactly are we talking about? Because they're not holding government to ransom. They're pulling all the stops they can to get their side of it.
Is it not because these unionized groups think that, well, it is the
You see,
most
I don't
plausible,
necessarily
the most
agree-
plausible means by which they can hold government to ransom? Because when we strike, then government will take the needed action and pay us.
And from all indications,
And
they
it
have,
will not be the first precedent.
from all indications, they have sat at the table for quite a few times. They have done what it takes. You see, let me position this properly.
But that is what unionized negotiations are supposed to be about. You
But
sit
it can't be endless.
And you,
But it can't be endless.
you reach some
But
conclusiveness.
it can't be endless.
Mr. Kobie Champon, your
can't
reaction
be
is
endless.
You see, what is the issue that is primary in all this? It's about research allowances, grants. That is POTAG strike. That's the basis. Just like UTAG, the research money. That is the issue. Government is saying, I just don't want to give a carte blanche research grant to everybody.
So I want to have a
If
centralized.
I want it centralized.
Okay.
If you have a good research proposal, apply and have access to the money. What is the big deal with this one? In every established university all over the world, I was educated in Ohio University. Teachers and lecturers never had access to carte blanche research money. You had to bring in money
Social
to the
Democrats.
department.
You mean Ohio,
please.
Ohio University.
Ohio University. You had to bring in money to the department for you to be able to access research funds.
Democrats.
That is what it is about. It is not about social democracy.
That's what you
Social
are.
democracy is not about giving money endlessly. No.
Let it make
Social democracy is about reality of what has to happen.
Oh.
You have to do what is right.
Take care
That
of the
is what
people.
social. And
Excuse
mind
me,
you,
sir.
social democracy is not about the fact that
He hasn't protested.
everything is free. No.
That's what you do.
Germany is a social democratic state.
That's
What do they do there?
That's what you, they're not
They-
social democratic.
What do you mean? Which party is ruling? Angela Merkel's party. It's a social democratic party. What are you talking about?
They have conservatives.
These are the things they do. You do realistic
So you're saying
things.
that despite whatever ideology a party has,
The realistic things must be done. Period. If a teacher is not working, don't spend government money on that person.
No,
that is the critical issue.
I tried to tell you.
There are so many varying degrees of workers. If everybody says they are going on strike and you continue to pay them, what happens to the government exchequer?
But the government
it is good money going after bad money, and that is not right.
The government exchequer is going to bad.
Mirror it to the private sector.
Not doing the
I
right
use the
thing.
private sector as a leverage. Would they have done this if they were in the private sector? They would have been kicked out. They would have been given paid slips, and they would have been out. Who said so?
Yeah.
Who said so?
Why the private sector people
we
not
think government is a Father Christmas who must always give anything, anyhow, anyway to people. You have pulled your services for as far back as what time? May. We are in August. Teachers, students have been deprived of their academic sustenance. And you think government should continue to pay?
Well, my producers have promised me that they're going to get a labor expert on the line. We'll get to speak to them on the subject. But I've heard Austin Game and a number of labor experts talk on this very subject. And what they've said was that as far as they are concerned, if you are an employee, and we know government formally is the biggest employer, then they need to adhere to certain rules.
Basic rules.
As far as unionized negotiations.
That's why labor laws are there. What do the labor laws say? I mean, labor laws are not there for any one person. They're there so that we can manage these circumstances. And I'm saying that what have the laws said so far? And when you've taken them to court, the court has justified their position.
So the court asked them to go back to the negotiating table.
But they did, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah. So once you haven't done with that process, why do you withdraw your services and continue to draw a salary?
It does not empower you to be a dictator or authoritarian.
It is not a dictatorship and authoritarianism. It's about doing what is right.
None of those things
that
allow
is what
you
is
to
critical.
be any of that. So
if you don't get
what
work,
are we talking
if
about?
you don't work, you don't get paid.
But you see, I keep trying to say this. That it's not that I necessarily agree or disagree with what the POTAG people are doing. But I do not think that government should take an anti-law position.
Government is going by the law.
Government should not take an anti-law position on the matter. You should go by what the laws say. And the laws do not empower you, as far as I understand it, unless I've missed something, I stand to be corrected, to go ahead and withdraw their salaries. What kind of position
should you be paid when you are not working?
That's a bullying situation. I'm saying that
why should you be paid when you are not working?
Right things. Collect money.
If you had employees who are not working, would you continue to pay them?
One of the ways to start is to initially give them some basic something that they can go with.
It is their unions that are supposed to do that.
This is where it's...
It is their unions, because the unions have called a strike.
Mr. Champon, let him make his point, then you can make a
He must get that point. It is their unions.
Mr. Champon, let him make his point, then you can also
the reason the union strike is working is because the membership agree.
It is the unions that should pay them when you pool services.
It is not the case in Ghana.
That are supposed to pay you.
It is not the case.
Why is it not the case in Ghana?
It is the case in Ghana.
No,
because we get away with this.
We're not doing NDC laws.
No, this is not NDC. We get away with murder in the name of strikes. We get away with murder.
Now, for example, when we had these strike actions by the teachers, and as a result of that, a decision was taken by the Ministry of Education, then led by Mr. Yao Safumafo at the time. I remember in October, the salaries for teachers were withheld.
Because
it worked.
You keep going back.
Well,
what's the value of that? No. Have they learned from them? If that was a mistake, because
was it a mistake?
You seem to assume
do you think it was a mistake?
I have not agreed with you. You keep bringing it back, and I'm saying that if you think it is a mistake,
was
ask
it a mistake?
Whether they've learned. Otherwise, what's the value of your question? I don't understand. I'm saying that in our circumstance of today.
Please get the value of my question. Would you allow me then to make you get the value of my question?
I just gave you a solution.
Would you allow me then to get
for you
to get the value of my question? If it was done then, and that prompted the teachers to go back to the classroom, why don't you think this action would also work equally and make sure that
we wait and see?
Also gets
because if at the time the teachers went back to school based on that action by Mr. Safumaf, then something...
Really it was because of that very action.
And I'm saying, if that were the case, then there must be something in that negotiation process that prompted them to realize they were wrong. I'm asking, whether in this circumstance, do we find ourselves in the same situation? I just offered you a solution about 3 minutes ago, and the solution is simply this. First of all, and his response was that that's what the unions should be doing. I'm saying that If everybody under the union is listening to what the union is saying and not going to work, then there's something fundamentally wrong with your negotiation process. And do not take a stance of withdrawing their salaries as a way to make
sure. Mr. Champon, according to reports we're getting now, and my producer is just telling me, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has also announced it is seeking redress in court over government's refusal to pay the research and book allowance. And the same reason why POTAG are also on strike. And the statement signed by Samuel Atitono indicated the association has withdrawn the case from the Labour Commission, the voluntary arbitration, and has given government a 30-day notice of its intention to go to court to seek some
redress. Another model.
You see what they are doing? They are doing the right thing. They are going back. You're giving government notice, which means government.
Who says that POTAG didn't give you notice?
Please. Government has to ratchet up.
But if I remember POTAG gave you some notice.
Yes, but you don't withdraw your services when you are negotiating.
Oh, please.
It's never done.
They gave you notice
and if you do that, it's your unions that should pay your salaries. If you do that, it's your unions that should pay your salaries.